Hey folks, hope you're well. I've finished up my late September, early October 2005 week of bushwalks with local land services. And we have finished on an absolutely beautiful property today in an area I knew nothing about and had really never heard of. This is the Mount David area, which is west of Oberon. And it started out as a beautiful sunny day, can you believe? And it's just turned into this absolutely freezing squall that's come in. There's a bit of rain about. I'm trying to get this video in before the rain comes back again. And I don't mean to duplicate all my videos, but sometimes you make a video and you put it on and sometimes you feel a little bit guilty about it, that you haven't really done it justice. We're at 1,100 meters here in the Oberon, Mount David area. And I made a video on this in the Southern Highlands not too long ago, but here they are absolutely gorgeous. And when I made a video on them in the Southern Highlands, I was talking about how miserable they often look. But in this particular patch, which is on basalt soil, they're absolutely spectacular. And I really want to do them justice and just give a bit of duplication, like I did with Acacia falcifolia. Just a bit of additional duplication on how beautiful they can be. This is Eucalyptus dives again. And this time it's up here in this beautiful Mount David area. And we've got these gorgeous, 20 metre, 25 metre tall trees. So I really just want to give it a bit more, a bit more love, I suppose, because when I did it on the Wombeyan Caves Road in the Eucalypt, in such different habitat to this, I really didn't do it justice. Remember a peppermint? Eucalyptus dives or any peppermint, you can crumble the bark up into sawdust. That's what you can do most of the time. It's different to a stringy bark. You can't really pull big strings off it, and you can crumble it into sawdust quite easily. The geographic range, it was New South Wales and Victoria. It's as far north as about Mudgee, Candos, so we're not really too far away from its northern limit here. Not too far away. And then it goes down mainly through the tablelands, just mainly through the tablelands and maybe the east of the Western Slopes. And then it goes down into Victoria, where it does sort of a sweeping arc through the central and sort of eastern parts of Victoria, and it sort of arcs through Melbourne and the north of Melbourne there, and it finishes up to the west of Melbourne, I think towards the sort of Horsham area in the west of the state, or maybe not quite that far. But it just does this sweeping arc through Victoria based on the records. So we wouldn't be too far from its northern limit here, which seems to be just south of Mudgee or thereabouts. In my last video, I showed these really, really miserable trees in sort of scribbly gum, and I think it was mainly scribbly gum, maybe a bit of snow gum, woodland, shrubby woodland on sandy soil, sandy boggy soil on the Wombeyan Caves Road. But here on basalt, they're just these beautiful big trees. And what I marvelled at this morning was I've rarely seen dives this beautiful, with this much beauty about them. They're just really tall, really beautiful, and they're really healthy. We're in the Eucalypt Shire at the moment, the Southern Highlands. They're all looking a bit sick, and it's really hard to get a nice healthy one, but there's plenty of beautiful ones here. They're just really, really nice. And look, I've just been re-evaluating them. I'm going to call them a beautiful, handsome tree from now on, and I should have been doing that all along. Don't forget with your divey saplings, the first thing to look for is these beautiful big truncate juveniles. And it's a real quick ID feature for them. You can just zoom in on these pretty quick and give them a good crush. And the peppermint smell is absolutely overpowering. Just very strong peppermint smell. Remember, dives from the Latin means rich, and it's referring to the oils, just the oils in the leaves. It's so potent. It's one of the strongest smelling peppermints I know. When you get this, there's many saplings around, they're regenerating really well, and you can just pick it up really constantly. So I've just got so much more better material here than what I did have in that Wombian Caves Road population. Just such better material, and you can just get it consistently. You just get these leaves, really beautiful, and then it sort of starts going into more sort of what we'd call typical eucalyptus leaves, sort of lanceolate, looking a bit more peppermint-like as they go up there. With the adult leaves, they're described as being to about 15 centimetres long and about 3 centimetres wide. So 15 centimetres long, 3 centimetres wide. These ones seem to be a bit wider than that, I reckon. I've seen about 3.5 centimetres wide stated. So that's probably good enough for these, I guess. They can sometimes be pretty fat eucalyptus divies. Most of the ones I tend to see, they're on the short side. And they do still have the strong peppermint smell, and they're concolorous. The peppermints are pretty much known for having concolorous leaves. Easily the same colour both sides. There's not really any strong discoloration most of the time. You can see they're bluey green. Nice bluey green a lot of the time. Some strong venation there in some leaves. And we've got these red stems here at the ends too. So known as the broadleaf peppermint just because it does hold its pretty wide leaves as it goes into the adult phase. Just thinking about the width, maybe 4 centimetres in some cases. And don't forget the buds. With the peppermints, they totally throw the buds into the high number, just like Eucalyptus radiata and Eucalyptus alata. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 maybe there. And I think we can easily go above 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, maybe 14 there. You can keep trying. And I've definitely got one here that's going to shake us up. Bit of representation. It's hard to tell where that one's coming from because I've just got intermingled clusters, but let's just have a go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Oh, that one's well and surely over 20. I just put the buds on in very high numbers. This population is so much better for getting really nice material. Just so much better. I can't impress you how cold it is here. It's hit about, I reckon, 5 degrees. It's absolutely freezing. I'm about to drive back to Sydney where I'll probably go into something like 25 degrees by the time I get home. That's the bud material of divies. There's so much beautiful material here. And it's, but like radiata and like alata, it's going into that really high number. It's just so beautiful to walk through. We've got pretty much Eucalyptus divies with Eucalyptus staurimpliana and things like Acacia dialbata. I wouldn't have a clue what PCT it falls into. It'd be good to know. There's another different bipinnate wattle here as well, which I want to go have a look at. I think it might just be falcifolia, but I want to have a close look at that too. I'm just going to this tree because it had a lot of fruit, though I don't know if I can get hold of it too well. But there's a whole heap of fruit up here. Absolutely laden. At the last video, I struggled to get fruit for a long time. Just see what I can get my hands on. It's probably just easier to tackle this big branch. It's only come down relatively recently. And it's what I like about the peppermints most of the time. They're just covered in fruits. They're just nice and laden. And that's our sort of bowl-shaped fruit. They do look a bit scribbly gum to me, but they've sort of got longer pedicels, I think, and longer peduncles most of the time. They're reported as being about 7 mil long and wide. Hopefully that's what I said in the last video. 7 mil long and wide, a little thick and disc up the top. They do have a bit of a scribbly gum appearance, but you know, the trunk is very different to a scribbly gum. You will get them in, you know, nice clusters. I'll just grab this one here. But just remember, by the time you get to the fruit stage, the high numbers have sort of disappeared, just because either there's not enough room for them to all develop, or they've just been reduced, or they've just ripened up, or been aborted, or whatever, or flowers didn't get pollinated properly. But there's our beautiful fruits. They've got a nice red disc. I think the valves are meant to be enclosed or to rim level. They normally are in the peppermints most of the time, but a nice beautiful red disc there. That's very scribbly gum like, I'm finding. And a nice sort of hemispherical shape to maybe a slightly more of a cup shape, but a beautiful hemispherical shape there. So that's typical Dives fruit, and radiata looks very similar. Radiata fruit don't look very different to Dives. They're pretty similar in the fruit, I find. Just in the leaf width, they're very different. Radiata has very narrow leaves. I think they're allowed to be in radiata to about maybe 17 mil across or something like that. Dives, we're told they're allowed to be to about, I think Eucalypt might say wider, maybe 45 mil or something. But beautiful fruits. They've all got their own distinct pedicel there. Just a beautiful fruit on Dives, and radiata, I don't see a lot of difference. It seems to be very similar. So that's just another video on Eucalyptus Dives. They're just so beautiful in this patch here, and I reckon the mallees and the short ones I was getting in the Southern Highlands just it just did them a bit of a disservice on how beautiful they can be. Just note, this is a very different habitat to my first video. This is a beautiful enriched basalt forest, and they're gorgeous here. But in the Southern Highlands, I was in sandy, swampy woodland. So that's the tolerance of Dives, and Dives will rock up in a rocky woodland on higher ground as well, with things like polyanthemos, maybe Eucalyptus goniocalyx, and Eucalyptus macarinca. It'll happily rock up with those guys too. But here, it's just in a very different habitat. I find radiata is similar. Radiata can rock up in a variety of habitats and soils as well. So the peppermints, they seem to be a bit versatile. They can rock up in a variety of habitats. Absolutely gorgeous. It was such a privilege to be able to come onto this property.